Mark has always been a good person, happily married for years, a good father, a loving husband, and a responsible provider for his family. A man of faith, Mark has been a faithful church member for years. For most of those years, Mark saw the pastors in his church as the ones who worked for God. They were the ministers, and Mark faithfully supported them. Once in a while, Mark would wonder what it would be like to be used by God to truly and fully alter the life of a hurting person. What must it feel like to bring complete hope to someone, spiritually, emotionally, and physically? After a few moments of daydreaming, Mark would snap out of it, remembering who he was, a regular guy with lots of shortcomings. For he had no training, he had no obvious skill, and definitely didn't have the spiritual ability to care for people's hurting hearts. At least that's what he thought. As much as he had the desire, he quickly returned to his daily activities, reminded of his place in this world. Little did Mark know that through his daydreaming, a cosmic battle was taking place. A battle between an evil power determined to keep Mark in his place, while a good God knew and planned that Mark had riches to give beyond his comprehension. Mark was unaware that this battle culminated in his decision the following year to spend a week away from work and away from family, serving underprivileged children in a very poor region. For the first time, Mark saw how he was created to be a vehicle of hope for these hurting people. While sacrificing and serving, Mark experienced an enriching week of meaningful living. He sensed that supporting others to bring hope to the world wasn't all that he was called to do. He too was called to be a minister of hope. The discovery that God makes opportunity for all to be involved in bringing hope changed Mark's life completely. His new calling brought changes to his business. His marriage grew even stronger as Mark and his wife now shared their calling. Most of all, Mark himself changed. He was no longer a supporter of God's mission to this world. He was a key player. And he knew his wife, his children, and everyone around him had the same opportunity as he did to a meaningful life by bringing hope to others. Nehemiah was a political leader who lived hundreds of years before the time of Jesus, thousands of years before Mark. His era was a difficult time for his people. Having been in captivity for 70 years, they had lost their land, their capital city, even their place of worship had been destroyed. They had no hope. But Nehemiah refused to let his people live in hopelessness. He gained access to the political powers and received permission to rebuild his people's city and temple. What he did next set a pattern for Mark thousands of years later. Nehemiah invited everyone to join him in restoring hope. Musicians, tradespeoples, officials, peasants, men, women, the well-educated, and those with no education whatsoever. Everyone had a part to play in restoring hope to the community. Against all odds of success, the temple and the city were rebuilt. Lives were transformed. The community was restored. Hope came to them because everyone had an opportunity to participate.